Silence doesn't always mean peace. Sometimes it's the sound of someone realizing your worth too late. You see, folks, being ignored hurts, doesn't it? It's like sending a message into space and waiting for an echo that never comes back. You check your phone again. Maybe they're busy, maybe they didn't see it. But deep down, you know they did. And now that silence feels louder than any argument could ever be. It's strange how a few seconds of seen can make even the strongest man question his worth. But my friends, let me tell you something straight. When someone ignores you, they're not showing power. They're exposing insecurity. They're testing not your patience, but your peace. Before we go deeper, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me till the end, because today we're breaking down something powerful, how to make them feel the price of that silence. Hey folks, imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror that doesn't reflect your face, it reflects your energy. Every time you panic, chase, or double text, that reflection fades a little more. But when you stay calm, centered, and still, suddenly the reflection glows back with strength. That's what silence does. It shows who's in control, you or your emotions. There's an old saying, never argue with silence. It reveals more than words ever could. But most people can't handle that. The moment they get ignored, they lose their center. They start fighting ghosts, building stories, replaying every little thing they said. That's how people give their power away, by trying to fix someone's ego instead of protecting their own peace. Let me hit you with a hard truth. Sometimes they ignore you not because you're unworthy, but because your energy makes them nervous. They feel your presence too strongly, so they try to control it through distance. It's like trying to stare at the sun. You can't handle something that shines that bright for too long. And if you dim yourself to make others comfortable, you'll spend your life begging for the light you already had inside. The Stoics had a saying, the closer a thing is to your peace, the harder life will test it. When you stop reacting, when you stop chasing, the universe itself starts showing you who's real and who was only there for your attention. Silence isn't rejection, it's revelation. It's how life filters people who only clapped when you were loud, not when you were calm. My friends, think of your attention like gold coins. Every text, every call, every thought you send to someone who ignores you, it's a coin spent. And here's the crazy part. People value what costs them something. If your attention is free, they'll treat it like it's worthless. But when you pull back, when you go quiet, they start to realize those coins actually had weight. That's when curiosity turns into regret. And don't get it twisted. Being silent doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've learned to care about yourself more. You don't chase, not because you've stopped feeling, but because you've started healing. You've understood the power of walking away without slamming the door. You've realized that sometimes the loudest "I'm done" is said in total silence. So, the next time they ignore you, don't panic. Smile a little. Let them wonder where your energy went. Let them feel the quiet they created. Because your silence, when used right, is not weakness. It's strategy. It's a mystery. It's your greatest teacher. You don't need to fight for attention when your absence already speaks volumes. The world doesn't remember those who beg. It remembers those who build peace out of chaos. So stay calm, stay grounded, and remember, your silence is not the end of the story. It's the start of your transformation. Type it down in the comments. My silence has power. Press that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and stay with me, because what comes next will change the way you see silence forever. Number 1. The hidden message behind their silence. Silence doesn't mean they don't care. It means life is asking you, will you still respect yourself when no one's clapping? You see, my friends, when they ignore you, it feels like someone just unplugged the connection you thought was solid. One day, everything's flowing, laughter, messages, conversations. Then suddenly, nothing. No reply, no explanation, just silence. It's like standing in a room where the lights go out mid-sentence. You blink, trying to adjust, hoping they'll come back and switch it on again. But they don't. And now your mind starts racing. Did I do something wrong? Did I say too much? Did I not say enough? That's the trap. That's the moment most people lose themselves. Because silence, my friends, is not just the absence of words, it's a mirror. And what you see in that mirror depends on how much control you have over your emotions. When they ignore you, they're not just pulling back, they're observing. They want to see who you become when the attention stops. Do you stay calm or do you crumble? Do you stay grounded or do you chase? Because here's the truth. They're not just ignoring your message, they're measuring your power. Imagine this. You're walking through a marketplace holding a gold coin. You show it to everyone you meet, hoping someone will tell you how valuable it is. Some people glance and walk away. Some laugh. Some say, "That's nothing special." But then one day, someone who actually understands value looks at it and says, "This coin, it's priceless." That's when you realize the coin was never the problem. The problem was showing it to people who didn't know its worth. That's what happens when they ignore you. It's not that you lost value. It's that you were trying to prove it in the wrong place. And I get it. It hurts. That silence feels personal. It feels like rejection, like you've been erased. But I promise you, it's not rejection. It's redirection. Sometimes the universe allows them to ignore you so you can finally listen to yourself. Because when they go quiet, the only voice left is yours. And for some people, that's the loudest sound they've never faced. Now here's where it gets hard. Your brain will fight you. It'll whisper things like, "Maybe if I just send one more message," or "Maybe if I just explain myself." That's not logic talking, that's fear. Fear of being forgotten, fear of not being enough, fear that maybe their silence means something about you. But let me break the lie right now. It doesn't. Their silence says nothing about your worth. It only reveals their capacity. People don't ignore you because you're too much. They ignore you because they can't handle what you bring. The Stoics used to say, "The obstacle is the way." That silence, that's your obstacle. And inside, it lies your lesson. The lesson that not every pause requires a response. That your energy doesn't belong in every direction. That peace is the reward for the man who doesn't flinch when the world gets quiet. But folks, here's why most people can't handle this test. It's uncomfortable. Stillness feels like failure when you're used to fighting for attention. Your ego wants to fix things, to fill the silence, to prove you matter. But discipline whispers, "Let it be." And that whisper, that's where your power lives. Because silence is a battlefield most people never master. It's not about who talks louder. It's about who remains unmoved when the noise stops. Think of it like this. Imagine the ocean. When it's calm, you can see straight to the bottom. But when it's stormy, everything's muddy, chaotic, unclear. That's your mind when you react to silence. The more you splash, the less you see. But when you become still, everything starts to clear. You begin to see things for what they are, not what your fear paints them to be. When they ignore you, they think they're in control. They think your reaction will feed their ego, validate their power, confirm their influence. But when you don't react, when you stand tall in that quiet, the control flips. Because now they're wondering. They start thinking, why aren't they reaching out? Did they move on? Did I lose my hold? Their silence turns into curiosity, and curiosity turns into regret. You've flipped the script without saying a single word. But let's be honest, this takes strength. It takes patience. It takes emotional maturity to not let silence turn into self-doubt. You've got to remind yourself, I'm not chasing what ignores me, I'm protecting what defines me. Because every second you spend overthinking their silence, you're moving further away from your own peace. And peace, my friends, is the highest form of power. I'll tell you something powerful that changed my life. When you stop explaining, they start reflecting. That's the power of silence. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone who can't see it. You just have to stop handing them the power to question it. So when they ignore you again, and someday someone will, don't panic, don't chase, don't fold, just smile and let the silence stretch. Because that space between their ego and your self-respect, that's where transformation happens. You'll start to feel something different, calmness, confidence, control. That's when you'll know the silence is no longer about them, it's about you. And one day, they'll come back. They always do. Not because they miss the noise, but because they finally realize your silence was never emptiness. It was power. The kind of power that comes from a man who no longer begs to be seen because he knows exactly who he is, even when no one's watching. So type it down below. Right now, my silence speaks strength. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you that you've stopped chasing noise and started mastering stillness. Because this is only the beginning, my friends. Stay with me, because what comes next will show you how to make that silence work for you, not against you. Number 2, why you panic when they pull away. Fear makes loud men desperate and quiet men dangerous. You ever notice, my friends, how when they suddenly go quiet, your brain doesn't? It starts spinning like a storm that won't settle. One minute you're calm, confident, focused, and the next you're checking your phone every 5 minutes like it holds the key to your worth. That silence begins to whisper lies. They don't care. You messed it up. You're losing them. And those whispers grow into panic. You feel that burning need to do something. Text, call, explain, fix, prove. But here's the truth most people never realize. That panic isn't about them at all. It's about you, about the fear that maybe, without their attention, you don't exist. Think about that for a second. You're not chasing them. You're chasing the version of yourself you only feel when they notice you. That's the lie silence exposes. Because when they ignore you, it's not rejection, it's exposure. It shows you how dependent your peace has become on their reaction. That's why it hurts so much. It's not their silence that breaks you. It's realizing how much power you gave away just to feel seen. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that only reflects you when someone else looks at it. As soon as they walk away, the reflection disappears. That's what happens when your validation lives in their attention. You vanish the moment they stop watching. And that's why panic hits so hard, because it's not just about being ignored. It's about suddenly facing yourself without their approval as a distraction. But let me tell you something powerful. Panic is not proof of love. It's proof of attachment. And attachment built on fear will always collapse when silence enters the room. The mind tells you that doing something, sending that extra message, checking their story, posting something they'll see, will fix the feeling, but it never does. It only makes the silence louder, because now you've turned their attention into oxygen. You can't breathe without it. You see, folks, our brains are wired to chase what we think we're losing. It's survival instinct. Back in the old days, if your tribe ignored you, it meant exile. Exile meant danger. And that same wiring still lives inside us. So when they pull away, your subconscious screams, "Do something." But here's the twist. The modern battlefield isn't physical, it's emotional. When you chase silence with action, you lose emotional ground. Because your energy says, My peace depends on you. And that message destroys attraction, destroys respect, destroys the calm that once made you magnetic. The Stoics had a saying, control what you can, let go of what you can't, but most people flip it. They try to control others and end up losing control of themselves. You can't force someone to value what they don't understand. You can only decide whether their silence deserves a response, and most of the time, it doesn't. So why do you panic? Because silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty feels like loss. But the truth is, silence doesn't mean loss, it means space. And space, when handled with discipline, turns into power. It gives you a chance to reset the energy, to remind yourself that attention is not the measure of worth. Presence is. Let me put it this way. The ocean doesn't chase the tide when it pulls away. It knows it'll return when it's meant to. That's the mindset of someone who's mastered themselves. You don't chase what drifts. You remain steady, knowing your calmness is the current they'll eventually feel again. It's not easy, my friends. I know that silence messes with your head. It makes you overthink, doubt, replay conversations at 2 a.m. But that's exactly why this moment is sacred. Because when you learn to sit in that discomfort and stay still, you evolve. You stop needing closure from people who were never open in the first place. You stop begging for peace from the ones who disturbed it. You stop fearing loss because you realize what's meant for you doesn't require chasing. Remember this, panic is just energy with no direction. But once you direct it back to yourself, to your purpose, your health, your goals, it transforms into power. That's what they don't expect. They expect your reaction. They expect your weakness. But when they find your stillness instead, that silence starts haunting them. They start to wonder how you're not breaking, why you're not chasing, how you're suddenly so calm. And that curiosity, my friends, becomes the seed of their regret. So the next time your heart starts racing because they've pulled away, take a deep breath and say to yourself, this silence is not my enemy. It's my mirror. It's not here to punish you. It's here to prepare you. Type it down in the comments right now. I choose calm over chaos. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world around you that you're done chasing fear. Stay with me, because what comes next will show you how to turn that calmness into the very thing that draws them back without a single word. Number 3. Energy exchange. The power they feel when you chase. Every time you chase, you tell them your energy is free. My friends, have you ever noticed how the moment you start chasing someone's attention, they start acting like it's worth more? The calls you used to get stop coming. The texts you used to see every morning suddenly take hours or days, and the more you reach out, the less they respond. It's not magic, it's math, it's energy exchange. Every time you give more than they give back, the balance shifts. You start paying in attention, and they start collecting in ego. Imagine your attention like a lamp. When you turn it on someone, they feel its warmth. But if they stay too long, they start believing the light will never fade. They stop appreciating it because they think it'll always be there. And when you finally turn it off, they don't just miss the light. They miss how it made them feel. That's the price of energy, folks. The more you give without boundaries, the cheaper it becomes. See, when they ignore you, they're subconsciously checking one thing, whether they still have access to your energy. They don't care about your words. They care about your reaction, because your reaction feeds them. It confirms they still matter. That's why silence from them hurts. It's not the lack of communication that burns. It's the feeling that your energy is being taken for granted. But here's the twist. They only have as much power as you hand over. The lie most people believe is that attention equals love, that giving more will make someone care more. But that's not how energy works. True connection isn't built on constant giving, it's built on balance. When you give endlessly and they give nothing, you create emotional inflation. Your energy becomes like money printed without value. Every new act of chasing lowers its worth. Think about it like this. If a store kept giving out free gold, people would stop valuing gold. But if that same store said, "This is rare, handle it with respect," suddenly everyone wants it. It's the same with your presence. When it's always available, it loses mystery. When it's rare, it becomes magnetic. That's why the Stoics always spoke about restraint. He who controls his energy controls his life. When you stop giving your energy to people who waste it, something powerful happens. The value of your presence rises. They start to feel the loss of your focus, your warmth, your attention. You don't have to block them, post about them, or make a scene. Just pull your energy back quietly. Let the silence work like gravity. Because the energy you once gave freely is now the energy they can't reach. And that distance creates tension they never expected. Now let's be honest, it's not easy. Your instincts tell you to fix it, to prove yourself, to remind them of who you are. That's the emotional debt talking. You keep paying with effort, hoping they'll repay with interest. But they never do. Because as long as you're the one spending, they'll never learn the value of what they're receiving. But once you stop chasing, something changes. The same silence that once scared you becomes your strength. You'll notice they start showing up again, liking your posts, watching your stories, testing the water. Not because they suddenly care more, but because the energy they were feeding on is gone. You became scarce. And scarcity to the human mind is irresistible. Energy is felt, not forced. You can say all the right things, send all the perfect messages, but if your energy says, "I need you to notice me," they feel it and pull away. But if your energy says, "I'm complete with or without you," they feel that too and draw closer. That's the paradox. The less you give away, the more they crave it. It's tough, I know. You want to reach out. You want to remind them that you care. But you have to remember, real power doesn't chase validation. It attracts respect. Your silence, your focus, your calm. That's how you remind them what they lost. Not by proving, not by pleading, but by protecting your peace. So from now on, whenever they go quiet, let that be your cue to pull your energy back. Focus on yourself. Build, heal, move. Because the moment you stop feeding their ego, you start feeding your own growth. And soon, that same energy that once chased will start attracting. You'll glow differently, talk differently, move differently, and they'll feel it. Not through words, but through absence. The energy they took for granted becomes the energy they'll start chasing again. And by then, my friends, you won't need their attention anymore. You'll be too focused on your purpose to notice who's watching. Type it down in the comments. My energy is gold. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that your energy is not free, it's earned. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you exactly how to use your silence to make them feel the weight of losing access to it. Number 4. How silence flips the game. The moment you stop explaining yourself, they start explaining you to themselves. You see, my friends, silence has a funny way of turning the mirror around. When they ignore you, they expect chaos. They expect you to fold, to chase, to fill the void with desperate words. That's the pattern they've seen 100 times before, someone scrambling to prove their worth. But when you don't play that game, when you stay calm and quiet instead of emotional and loud, the script flips. Suddenly, they're not analyzing your words anymore. They're analyzing their own behavior. Imagine a game of cards where one player keeps revealing their hand and the other sits back in silence. At first, the quiet one looks weak, detached, uninterested. But over time, the silence becomes uncomfortable. It makes the other player second-guess every move. What are they thinking? Why aren't they reacting? Are they out of moves? Or are they winning? That's what your silence does. It's not avoidance. It's psychological tension. It forces them to face their own uncertainty. At first, they'll tell themselves stories. They must be upset. They'll come back. They always do. But when you don't, that silence becomes heavy. It starts to echo. It crawls under their skin. They start checking your page, replaying conversations, wondering what changed. It's not that your words had power. It's that your stillness did. Because silence, when used with discipline, doesn't push people away. It pulls their conscience closer. The lie they want you to believe is that silence equals weakness, that if you don't react, you don't care. But the truth is the opposite. Silence is not a lack of emotion. It's mastery of it. It's knowing that nothing you say right now will fix what their ego broke. It's the confidence of someone who knows their value doesn't need to be explained twice. You see, folks, people expect you to panic. They expect you to chase clarity. That's why when you don't, it shocks their system. It creates a new emotional equation, uncertainty. And uncertainty is what breeds attraction, curiosity, regret. They start wondering, did I lose my power? Did they move on? Did they stop caring? You're not manipulating them. You're just letting silence teach the lesson you couldn't through words. But let's be real. It's hard. It's hard to stay quiet when your emotions are screaming for closure. It's hard to act composed when you're bleeding inside. Yet, that's exactly why this moment is powerful. Because silence is the space where self-respect grows roots. It's the gym where your emotional discipline gets stronger. Every time you resist the urge to reach out, you're lifting a heavier weight. Self-control. Think of it like a chessboard. At the beginning, they're making all the flashy moves, taking space, trying to dominate. But when you sit back and play the long game, the board starts to shift. They realize you're not reacting, you're responding. You're not emotional, you're strategic. That's when they start realizing the truth. You were never the one losing control. They were. Silence changes perception. Before, they thought you needed them. Now, they're not sure. Before, your messages were proof of attention. Now, your absence is proof of strength. It's subtle, but powerful. You're teaching them what every Stoic already knows. Sometimes the loudest roar is the one that never leaves your lips. And here's what's really ironic. They thought ignoring you gave them power. But when you stop reacting, their silence backfires. It becomes their problem, not yours. Now, they're the ones waiting, wondering, checking, replaying. You've become the unpredictable one. And unpredictability, my friends, is the root of fascination. People are drawn to what they can't control, so don't rush to fill the silence. Let it breathe, let it stretch. Let them sit in the quiet they created, because that's where realization lives. Every unanswered message becomes a mirror. Every ignored call becomes a question they can't escape. They thought you'd lose sleep over them, but it's their mind that starts losing peace. And when they finally break that silence, when they reach out again, it won't be because they missed the noise. It'll be because they missed the calm, the peace, the balance you carried. They'll come back not for conversation, but for the energy they once took for granted. Remember this, my friends. Silence doesn't mean surrender. It means strategy. It's the art of letting time and absence do what words never could. Type it down in the comments right now. My silence flips the game. Show them, show yourself, show the world that you no longer respond from fear. You move from strength. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you how that silence turns from power into pure magnetic pull. Number 5. The magnetic pull of stillness. When you stop chasing, you stop running, and suddenly they're the ones out of breath. There's a strange power in stillness, my friends. When you stop reacting, when you stop explaining, when you stop trying to prove your worth, you become a mystery again, and mystery is magnetic. The more they can't read you, the more they want to. The more you stop seeking their attention, the more they start craving yours. That's not magic. That's energy, the quiet, grounded kind that only comes from emotional control. Imagine you're standing in a room full of people, everyone talking, laughing, trying to be noticed. Then one person walks in, calm, silent, confident. They don't rush to speak. They don't need to be loud. Yet somehow every head turns. That's stillness. That's presence. It's not about what you do. It's about what you don't do. Your restraint becomes your power. Your calm becomes the loudest voice in the room. When they ignore you, they expect you to lose that calm. They expect the noise, calls, messages, explanations, reactions. But when you stay still, when you choose quiet over chaos, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability breeds curiosity. They start asking questions in their mind they can't find answers to. Did they move on? Did they stop caring? Did they meet someone else? The same silence they used to control you now controls them. The lie people live by is that constant action proves value. If I reach out again, maybe they'll see I care. But the truth is, care that chases becomes noise, and noise never attracts, it repels. The Stoics had a saying, "The calmer you are, the clearer you see." When you stop chasing, you see everything clearly. Who respects your silence, who fears it, and who was only drawn to your reaction, not your essence. Stillness is not about pretending you don't feel. It's about mastering what you feel. It's when you look at your phone, see their silence, and instead of reacting, you breathe. You say, "My peace is worth more than this panic." That's power, because stillness doesn't mean you've given up. It means you've leveled up. It's choosing composure over confusion, clarity over chaos. And let's be real, it's hard. You'll have moments where you want to break the silence, moments where your ego screams, "Just say something." But remember, silence isn't weakness, it's self-respect. It's saying, "I know my energy is valuable, and I won't spend it where it's not appreciated." Every time you resist the urge to react, you raise your worth. Think of stillness like gravity. Planets don't chase stars. They orbit naturally because of force, not effort. The same goes for energy. When you hold your center, others feel that pull. They can't explain it, but they sense it. Your calmness becomes their curiosity. Your silence becomes their obsession. They start wondering why their noise no longer moves you. That's the beauty of stillness. It shifts attention back to you without you having to say a single word. They'll scroll through your profile, check your stories, maybe post something to get your reaction. But deep down, they're feeling something new: uncertainty. And uncertainty, when mixed with attraction, turns into desire. Most people can't handle silence because silence exposes truth. But the Stoic man learns to use it. He doesn't fill space with words. He fills it with presence. He doesn't chase what's running. He becomes the destination. When they realize they can't shake your calm, they start chasing it. When they realize they can't control your emotions, they start missing your energy. That's how the balance of power returns. Quietly, naturally, without you lifting a finger. So the next time you feel that urge to explain yourself, to reach out, to break the silence, pause. Ask yourself, am I reacting from fear or responding from strength? Because one drains you, the other defines you. Every second you stay composed, you rebuild your value in their mind. Every moment you stay silent, you make them feel the cost of losing your peace. And when they finally reach out, And trust me, they will. It won't be because you begged. It'll be because they can't stop wondering how you became so unshakable. Your stillness will haunt them. Your silence will echo in their thoughts, because they'll realize something powerful. Your attention was never the prize. You were. Type it down below, my friends. My calm attracts. Show them, show yourself, show the world that you don't chase validation. You attract respect. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you how to make them feel the loss of that calm in a way they'll never forget. Number 6. Making them feel the loss without saying a word. Your silence is the echo of everything they took for granted. My friends, the moment you stop chasing, something begins to shift. At first, it's quiet, too quiet. You might even think they haven't noticed your absence. But they have. They always do. The same silence they once used to control you slowly turns into a mirror that forces them to face themselves. They start to feel the void they created, not because you vanished, but because the peace, the warmth, the energy you used to bring, it's gone. Think about it like this. When a light bulb burns out, you don't realize how much brightness it gave until the room goes dark. That's exactly what happens when you pull your energy back. You were the light in their space, the one who checked in, the one who gave attention, the one who cared without asking for much. And now that light is off. They don't just miss you, they miss the version of themselves that only existed when your energy was around. At first, they'll pretend it doesn't bother them. They'll post like they're fine, laugh louder, move on like nothing happened. But you'll notice the cracks in the performance. The jokes don't hit the same. The smiles look forced. Because the thing about silence is, it's not loud, but it's heavy. It starts to sink in slowly, like water filling a room. And before they know it, they're surrounded by it, feeling the weight of what they lost. See, folks, when you stop giving your energy, they lose something more valuable than your words. They lose their reflection. They lose that sense of importance that came from knowing you were always there. When you stop reacting, they start remembering. Every message you sent, every time you showed up, every small thing they brushed off, now starts replaying in their mind. That's when regret creeps in. Not because they can't live without you, but because they realize they underestimated you. The lie they live by is that people are replaceable, that they can find another version of you, another source of attention, another person to fill the silence. But the truth is, no one replicates energy. No one duplicates presence. And when someone has felt your peace, your patience, your care, they will search for it in others, but it will never feel the same. That's when the silence turns from comfort to confusion. Imagine this. You're used to hearing a song every morning when you wake up. It sets the mood for your day. Then, one day, the song stops. The silence that follows feels strange at first. You tell yourself you'll get used to it. But over time, you start humming it without realizing. That's what your absence does. It becomes a rhythm they can't replace. They might reach out eventually, not because they're ready to fix things, but because they want to feel that song again. They'll send small messages, drop subtle hints, test the waters to see if your light is still there. But this time, my friends, you move differently. You don't rush to reply. You don't over-explain. You let your calmness speak. Because you're not here to prove you're still available. You're here to remind them that losing you had a cost. And it's not revenge, it's reflection. You're not punishing them. You're teaching them. You're showing them that your silence isn't emptiness. It's elevation. You've moved from reaction to reflection, from chasing to choosing. The energy they used to drain is now being invested in your growth, your peace, your future. And that glow, they'll feel it before they ever see it. This is where most people fail. They try to make their absence loud, dramatic, noticeable, but real power doesn't announce itself. It's felt. You don't have to post cryptic quotes or prove you've moved on. You just live. You smile without explaining why. You build without broadcasting. You heal quietly, and that silence becomes the loudest statement you'll ever make. Because eventually, they'll feel it. When they open their phone and don't see your message. When they go through their day and realize it's too quiet. When they look around and no one listens the way you did. No one understands them the way you did. That's when the realization hits. The silence they once controlled now controls them. So don't break your peace trying to make a point. Your calmness is the point. Let time and absence do what words never could. Because the truth is, my friends, they can ignore your texts, your calls, your voice, but they can't ignore your absence. Type it down below. My silence teaches lessons. Show them, show yourself. Show the world that you don't need to make noise to make an impact. Stay with me, because what comes next will show you how to take that silence and turn it into unshakable strength. Number 7. Turning detachment into strength. The day you stop chasing is the day you start choosing. My friends, let's be real. Detachment isn't easy. It's not some cold, robotic switch you flip overnight. It's standing in the middle of an emotional storm, hearing your mind scream to reach out, and choosing stillness instead. It's when everything inside you wants to react, but your higher self whispers, "Don't." That's power. That's strength. And that's the difference between people who lose themselves in love and those who rise from it. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop bleeding for things that won't heal you. It's not about walking away angry. It's about walking away aware. You finally understand that your peace is too expensive to be traded for temporary attention. You don't disconnect out of bitterness. You disconnect out of clarity. Imagine a tree in autumn. The leaves start falling, but the tree doesn't panic. It doesn't try to glue them back on. It knows letting go is part of growth. That's detachment, my friends. You stop begging people to stay, and you trust that what's meant for you will never need convincing. You no longer fear silence, you master it. Because silence isn't emptiness anymore, it's your sanctuary. People think detachment means becoming numb, emotionless, distant. But real detachment is emotional intelligence. It's understanding your feelings without letting them control your actions. It's when you can love deeply but still walk away peacefully. That's the difference between attachment and awareness. Attachment says, "I need you to be okay." Detachment says, "I'll be okay whether you come or not." The Stoics said, "He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior." And that's exactly what detachment teaches you, to conquer your impulses, your reactions, your need for validation. Because the truth is, most people aren't addicted to love, they're addicted to the feeling of being needed. They mistake attention for affection. But when you detach, you finally break that illusion. You stop feeding your worth through someone else's eyes. You remember who you were before they made you doubt it. Yes, it'll hurt at first. Detachment always does, because it's not just losing them. It's losing the version of you that kept giving your energy away. It's losing your old patterns, your old fears, your old need to prove something. But every time you resist the urge to reach out, you strengthen a new muscle, self-respect. You start realizing that peace feels better than attention, that solitude feels lighter than confusion, and that silence isn't scary, it's sacred. Think of your energy like water. When you pour it into a cracked cup, it leaks. No matter how much you give, it's never enough. But when you finally stop pouring and start building your own well, you'll never run dry again. That's what detachment gives you, your own source of fulfillment. You don't wait for them to fill you anymore. You've learned how to fill yourself. And funny enough, that's when they start noticing. The same people who ignored you begin to sense something different about you. They can't put their finger on it, but they feel it. You move slower. You speak softer. You smile with purpose. Your energy no longer screams for validation. It radiates confidence. They realize you've detached not because you stopped caring, but because you've elevated beyond needing. And that realization cuts deeper than any argument ever could. Detachment doesn't push people away, it filters them. The ones who were only drawn to your reaction fade. The ones meant for your peace remain. That's how you separate connection from convenience. Because when you stop chasing what's running, you make room for what's real. And here's the secret. When you detach, you don't lose power, you gain it. You become the calm in a world addicted to chaos. You become the silence people can't ignore. You stop being the one waiting for validation and become the one setting the standard. That's strength. That's mastery. That's evolution. So if you're listening to this right now and you've been ignored, ghosted, or undervalued, remember, your reaction is your reflection. Don't let anyone's silence shake what you've built within. Choose detachment. Choose stillness. Choose peace. Because once you master that, they can ignore your words, but they'll never escape your energy. Your silence becomes your reputation. Your calm becomes your magnet. And the same people who once looked away will start looking up, wondering how you became untouchable. So type it down below, my friends. My peace is power. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you that you're done begging for connection. You're building strength from within. And if this message spoke to you, if it lit a fire somewhere deep inside, then press that like button, hit subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because it's time we stop chasing what drains us and start mastering what sustains us. Stay grounded, stay calm, and remember, your silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom.